The experience of Ely Parker and his brother Isaac Newton are instructive. Ely read for the law for 3 years but was not allowed to take the New York bar exam because he was not a white man. He then studied engineering at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute and became a civil engineer. After Governor Edwin Morgan turned away his offer to raise a regiment, he then sought to join the Army as an engineer and was told by the Secretary of War that because he was an Indian, he could not. Isaac's experience was similar. It took him no less than 3 attempts to enlist before in mid-1862 he and about 24 Iroquois were accepted into Company D of the 132nd New York Infantry, which came to be called the Tuscarora Company, despite the fact that it was mainly composed of ethnic Germans. Newt's letters revealed that once accepted, prejudice was not a factor within the regiment. Serving mostly in North Carolina, several Iroquois were promoted and twice collectively singled out in dispatches for meritorious service. Newt rose to sergeant and was chosen regimental color bearer. While working on Mississippi River locks projects before the war, Ely Parker had become friends with a local named Sam Grant. In need of engineers during the Vicksburg campaign of 1863, Grant intervened and Parker was commissioned captain. He became Grant's adjutant and eventually rose to the rank of lieutenant colonel. Present for the surrender of the Army at Northern Virginia and Appomattox, it was Parker who wrote out the terms of surrender. Initially, General Lee had mistaken Parker for a freedman or a mulatto, and he had hesitated when introduced. But recovered to say, "I'm glad to see one real American here." Parker purportedly responded, "We are all Americans, sir." Parker would become the first Indian to serve as Commissioner of Indian Affairs, appointed by his old friend, now President.
Ely Parker is important because of this connection with General Grant. Once the war is over, with the election of Ulysses S. Grant as President of the United States, Ely Parker would become the Commissioner of Indian Affairs. He will be the man who is in charge of the Indian Affairs. Today we call this the Bureau of Indian Affairs. This is the man who is in charge of it. And this is a very difficult task. It was a difficult task then, it's a difficult task today.
The idea that it's a group effort is there, but the way he does it is his way, not anyone else's way. And in the olden days, defeating an enemy, it usually chopped his chest open and took a double handful of blood and drank it. And then you go on to the next one. And so you wind up with all this blood on your face and on your clothes, really giving you a ghastly appearance, make you a little more fearsome. But the Anishinaabe, well, Anishinaabe means man. Actually it means the original man who comes down from the sky. Anishinaabek are Anishinaabe people, the people itself. We talk about the language, we talk about Anishinaabe, Anishinaabemowin. All of these people spoke, here in Michigan, spoke the same language. All the Potawatomi, the Ottawa, the Ojibwa spoke the same language.